City Stream returns from Food Lifeline, an organization working to end hunger by focusing on its root cause of poverty, brought on by systemic racism and social injustice. Food Lifeline's reach extends from this facility in Seattle to all of Western Washington. Now, one group that benefits greatly is seasonal workers.
In Skagit County, Food Lifeline is partnering with local food banks to meet the needs of the Hispanic community by investing resources to purchase more culturally appropriate foods. At the Tri-Parish Food Bank, these funds support new farm creation, farms that employ local workers to grow culturally appropriate foods that the Hispanic community needs.
When the seasonal job is gone, there is no income, you have to come to the food bank for a little help.
These are difficult times, especially with the pandemic, and the food bank is providing help. Sometimes we're not able to work, so this helps us a lot.
Having familiar foods makes a huge difference.
I feel like very comfortable because I know what I can cook, and I see a lot of food is organic, so that one is a very good idea too.
When you get stuff to cook at home, like you can have a burrito, chorizo, make a burrito, or beans, any kind of vegetables with beans, or eggs, and then you take it to water the field.
The beans and the masa and the pozole are good foods that we take for lunch. Sometimes it's foods that I cannot find in the stores.
Food Lifeline is committed to expanding its capacity and network to meet the increased need, to celebrating the dignity and diversity of all clients, to partnering with communities determined to find their own solutions, and engaging people just like you who believe food should be a basic human right.
Joining us now is Mark Coleman of Food Lifeline. Mark, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
My pleasure, Enrique. Thank you for visiting us.
We just saw a video in which one group that really depends on Food Lifeline are Latino seasonal workers. If there wasn't your organization, what would happen to them?
You know, that's hard to say. And what would happen is what has been happening for a long time. There's been a struggle in that community. And we really want to work with those communities to find out what the answer is and help them achieve that.
How difficult is it for you to serve them, knowing that their needs might be a bit different?
Well, I think, Enrique, the key is listening to these organizations because they know what the answers are. And once you can listen to them and then find a way to help them respond to that, you can create solutions.
Tell me about where the bulk of your food comes from. Who's supplying?
Well, every company in the food industry creates surplus. You can't sell what you don't have. So what we do is we pick up those surpluses from farmers, manufacturers, grocery stores, and restaurants. And that allows us to serve 350 food banks, shelters, and meal programs across Western Washington.
That's a lot of people that depend on you.
We'll serve over 1 million people this year. You see the volunteers behind me, they're sorting and repacking food that's going to go out in the next 24 hours. Every day, Food Lifeline creates the equivalent of 282,000 meals.
Wow. How has COVID and the pandemic impacted what Food Lifeline does and what they provide?
When COVID hit, we had problems finding food, you know, the supply chain issues, and we also had twice as many people looking for help. We did public distributions where the majority of the people coming to pick up food had never visited a food bank before in their lives. So that was a huge challenge.
One of the things that Food Lifeline has done is to take a deeper dive in looking at poverty and its impact on hunger. What did you find?
What we discovered is that if you're hungry, it's a financial problem. So most of the hunger comes from the root cause of poverty. And poverty comes from systemic racism, inequality, inequity. So we're looking to approach those root causes and try to remove them or modify them to make sure that more people have the food they need.
What do you tell the public about what your needs are?
What we tell the public is we need them to join us on this. We need them to learn about the problems, learn what the solutions are, and then engage with us to make a difference.
One last thing, you have volunteers that help you. How important is that to the existence of this organization?
We couldn't do it without the volunteers. We have about 18,000 volunteers every year because, as you can see in the warehouse, we get food by the truckloads and by the pallets. You can't drop a pallet on a small food bank. We need to break that food down, warehouse it, and then put those orders together for the food bank. So without the volunteers, we couldn't do this.
So if you want to volunteer, how do you go about doing it?
Couldn't be easier. Go to foodlifeline.org. When you get to the homepage, there's a big button that says volunteer. You click on it, it'll bring up a calendar, all the dates and times. You can sign up online and then just show up here and give us a hand.
Thanks a lot, Mark, and good luck.
Pleasure. Thank you for being here.
Watch CityStream Thursday nights at 7 on the Seattle channel, or get video on demand and podcasts anytime at seattle.gov.